In Miami's dazzling Brickell skyline, Isabella Foster gazed at a sleek white SUV, a lavish gift from her fiancé's aunt. But as the engine purred, the dashboard flashed, "You're being tracked." This wasn't a gift. It was a trap, and Isabella's world was about to ignite. There is one detail that only the attentive notice. Did you notice? Subscribe. It will help us make content that you will watch. Isabella Foster, a 28-year-old marketing strategist, thrived in Miami's electric pulse. Her days were spent crafting campaigns at Horizon Media, a top ad agency in Brickell's glittering towers. Her nights were for Lucas Reyes, her 35-year-old fiancé, a real estate attorney with a quiet charm and a knack for closing multi-million-dollar deals. Their condo, high above the city, was a sleek oasis. White marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a balcony overlooking Biscayne Bay. Palm trees swayed in the humid breeze as Isabella finalized a pitch for a major client, her tablet glowing under the chandelier. The deadline was tight, and her team was counting on her. Lucas strode in, his tie loosened after a long day. "Isabella, you're gonna love this," he said, grinning. "Aunt Victoria sent us a wedding gift early." He pointed to the window, where a white Range Rover sparkled in the condo's parking lot. Isabella's breath caught. The SUV was a masterpiece, its chrome rims glinting under the streetlights, but her excitement fizzled. Victoria Langston, Lucas's aunt and a real estate mogul, had always treated Isabella with icy disdain. Her compliments at family dinners were laced with barbs, her smiles never reaching her eyes. "She says it's her way of welcoming you to the family," Lucas added, oblivious to Isabella's unease. Victoria had raised Lucas after his parents' tragic accident, and he saw her as a saint. Isabella managed a nod. "That's unexpected." But her instincts screamed, Victoria doesn't do kindness without an agenda. The next morning, Isabella inspected the Range Rover. Its interior was pristine, leather seats soft as butter. But when she turned the key, the engine growled unevenly, and the dashboard lit up with a cryptic alert. "Tracking system active." Her pulse quickened. She scrolled through the settings and found a profile labeled V. Langston with GPS tracking and voice recording enabled. Why was Victoria spying on her? Her phone buzzed with an anonymous text. "Run the SUV's VIN, it's not what it seems." Heart pounding, Isabella checked the vehicle identification number online. The report was a shock. The Range Rover was a refurbished model, sold 8 months ago after a recall for defective airbags. Victoria had sworn it was fresh off the lot. Isabella's hands shook as she saved the evidence. Was this a scam or something darker? At dinner, Lucas raved about the SUV. "Take it for a spin tomorrow," he urged, pouring wine. Isabella's mind raced. Accusing Victoria without proof could fracture Lucas's trust in her. "Soon," she said, forcing a smile. That night, she stared at the city's neon glow, the anonymous text replaying in her mind. Who was warning her? She needed to dig deeper, but carefully. Victoria's influence in Miami was vast. Monday at Horizon Media, Isabella's boss, Marcus, called her in. "Your pitch deck for the client, it's a mess," he said, frowning. "Typos, wrong data. They're threatening to pull the account." Isabella was floored. She'd perfected that deck. Digging into the file, she found deliberate errors, numbers swapped, slides misaligned, made under her login. Someone had sabotaged her. Her rival, Chloe, a senior strategist with a smirk and Victoria's social circle, lingered nearby. Was she involved? Another anonymous text arrived. "Victoria's tied to Horizon's biggest client. Check their contracts." Isabella's blood ran cold. Victoria's real estate empire had stakes in half of Miami's skyline, including Horizon's top client, a luxury condo developer. Was Victoria tanking Isabella's career to control Lucas or to hide a bigger scheme? Isabella's resolve solidified. She'd exposed the truth. But one wrong move could cost her everything: her job, her reputation, and Lucas's love. Isabella Foster's world was unraveling under Miami's relentless sun. The white Range Rover, a supposed wedding gift from her fiancé's aunt, Victoria Langston, sat in the condo's parking lot like a ticking bomb. Its recalled airbags, surveillance tech, and anonymous warnings had Isabella on edge. Was Victoria, the real estate titan who'd raised Lucas Reyes, trying to sabotage her life? The anonymous texts pointing to Victoria's ties with Horizon Media's biggest client, a luxury condo developer, suggested a deeper scheme. Isabella needed answers, but every step felt like walking through a minefield. At Horizon Media, the fallout from the sabotaged pitch deck was brutal. Marcus, her boss, had reassigned the client account to Chloe, Isabella's rival, whose smug grin said she knew more than she let on. Isabella spent hours combing through server logs, her coffee going cold. She found a backdoor access point. Someone had used a spoofed IP to edit her files. The trail led to an external server linked to Langston Properties, Victoria's empire. Isabella's stomach churned. Was Chloe working with Victoria to tank her career? Her phone buzzed with another anonymous message. Meet me at Bayside Marketplace, 8 p.m. Bring the VIN report. Trust no one. Isabella hesitated. Bayside was public but crowded, safe enough, yet perfect for anonymity. She saved the text and glanced at the Range Rover through her office window. Its glossy exterior mocked her. She couldn't tell Lucas yet. His loyalty to Victoria ran deep, and without concrete proof, he'd think she was paranoid. But the sabotage and the SUV's dangers were no coincidence. That evening, Miami's neon lights pulsed as Isabella navigated Bayside's bustling waterfront. Tourists snapped photos, and salsa music drifted from bars. She clutched the VIN report, scanning the crowd. A man in a hoodie approached, his face half hidden. "You, Isabella?" he asked, voice low. She nodded, heart racing. He slid a USB drive into her hand. "I'm Daniel, ex-IT for Langston Properties. Victoria's rigging deals and your collateral. That SUV's part of a recalled batch she bought cheap to flip. Check the drive, her emails with Horizon's client." Isabella's mind raced. "Why me?" she asked. Daniel glanced around. "You're a threat. Victoria wants Lucas focused on her empire, not you. She's got Chloe in her pocket to ruin you at Horizon." Before Isabella could press further, Daniel vanished into the crowd. Back in her condo, she plugged the USB into her laptop. The emails were damning. Victoria had orchestrated a deal to sell recalled SUVs to Horizon's client for a shady condo project, passing them off as new. The Range Rover was a test case, gifted to Isabella to keep her distracted, or worse, to silence her if the airbags failed. Lucas came home late, his briefcase heavy with case files. "You okay, Is?" he asked, noticing her tension. "Just work stress," she lied, her heart aching. She wanted to spill everything: the SUV, the sabotage, Daniel's claims. But Lucas's phone rang. It was Victoria, her voice syrupy through the speaker. "Lucas, dear, has Isabella driven the Range Rover? I'd love her thoughts." Isabella's blood ran cold. Was Victoria fishing to see if she'd taken the bait? The next day, Isabella tested the SUV, her nerves frayed. She drove slowly through Coconut Grove, the engine's uneven hum unsettling. At a red light, she pressed the brake, and it sank too soft, the car lurching forward. She swerved, narrowly avoiding a cyclist. Trembling, she pulled over and called a mechanic friend, Javier. "Bring it in," he said. "Sounds like a recall issue." At his shop, Javier confirmed the airbags were faulty and the brake system compromised. "This car's a death trap," he said, handing her a diagnostic report. "Someone tampered with it post-recall." Isabella's fear turned to fury. Victoria hadn't just given her a used car, she'd rigged it to fail. But why? To scare her? To hurt her? The emails suggested a bigger motive. Victoria was laundering money through the condo project, and Isabella's marketing campaign for Horizon's client could expose it. Chloe's sabotage was meant to discredit her, ensuring the campaign failed. Isabella copied Javier's report and Daniel's files to a secure drive. She needed a plan. But confronting Victoria alone was suicide. At Horizon, Chloe's promotion was announced, and whispers of Isabella's incompetence spread. Marcus called her in again. "Another client complained about your work," he said, eyes cold. "I'm putting you on probation." Isabella's chest tightened. The complaint was based on a campaign she hadn't touched. Chloe's fingerprints were all over it. She confronted Chloe in the break room. "I know you're working with Victoria," Isabella hissed. Chloe smirked. "Prove it. You're sinking, Isabella. Get out while you can." That night, Isabella sat on the balcony, the Miami skyline glittering like a taunt. Lucas joined her, sensing her distance. "What's going on, Is? You're shutting me out." She took a deep breath, her evidence stacked on her laptop. "Lucas, it's about the Range Rover and Victoria." His face hardened. "My aunt? What are you talking about?" Isabella showed him the VIN report and Javier's diagnosis. "It's not new. It's dangerous. And there's more. Tracking devices, sabotage at work. I think Victoria's behind it." Lucas's eyes widened, but doubt lingered. "Victoria's tough, but she wouldn't hurt you. There's got to be a mistake." Isabella's heart sank. "Then come with me to Javier's shop tomorrow. See for yourself." Lucas nodded, his jaw tight. As they went to bed, Isabella's phone lit up with another text. "Victoria knows you met Daniel. Be careful." The web was tightening, and Isabella was running out of time. Isabella Foster's heart pounded as she and Lucas Reyes pulled into Javier's auto shop in Miami's Wynwood district. The white Range Rover, Victoria Langston's deceptive gift, sat under fluorescent lights, its sleek exterior belying its deadly flaws. Isabella had shown Lucas the VIN report and Javier's diagnosis, proof the SUV was a refurbished, recalled model with tampered brakes and faulty airbags. But Lucas's loyalty to his aunt, the woman who'd raised him, wavered. "Let's hear what Javier says," he muttered, his voice tight. Isabella nodded, clutching her phone, where the latest anonymous text burned. "Victoria knows you met Daniel. Be careful." Javier, wiping grease from his hands, greeted them. "This Range Rover's a mess," he said, spreading diagnostic charts on a workbench. The airbags could fail in a crash, and the brake lines were deliberately weakened post-recall. Whoever did this wanted it to look like an accident. Lucas's face paled as he scanned the report. "You're sure it's intentional?" he asked. Javier nodded. "No question. And I found a tracking device wired into the ECU, not standard equipment." Isabella's stomach twisted. Victoria's surveillance was surgical. Lucas rubbed his temples. Why would Aunt Victoria do this? Isabella hesitated, then handed him the USB from Daniel, the whistleblower. "These emails show she's using recalled SUVs in a deal with Horizon's client, a condo developer. She gave me this car to keep me distracted, or worse." Lucas plugged the USB into his tablet, his jaw tightening as he read Victoria's correspondence. The emails detailed a scheme to launder money through inflated SUV sales with the Range Rover as a test. "This can't be," he whispered, but doubt cracked his voice. Back at their Brickell condo, Miami's skyline glittered like a false promise. Isabella spread her evidence on the dining table. Javier's report, the VIN, Daniel's emails, and server logs linking Horizon's sabotage to Langston Properties. "Victoria's tanking my career to protect her deal," she said. "Chloe's helping her, framing me at work." Lucas paced, torn between love for his aunt and the truth. "I need to talk to her," he said. Isabella grabbed his arm. "Not yet," She's dangerous. We need more proof and allies. Isabella contacted Daniel through a secure app, arranging another meet. At South Beach's Ocean Drive, neon signs buzzed as she found him near a crowded cafe. "Victoria's on to me," Daniel said, eyes darting. "She fired me for asking questions about the SUV deal. Her client's condo project is a front, offshore accounts, fake invoices. You're a loose end because your campaign could expose it." He handed her a flash drive with financial records. "Get a lawyer. She's untouchable unless you go public." At Horizon Media, the pressure mounted. Marcus summoned Isabella to a boardroom where Chloe sat with a smug grin. "Clients are dropping you left and right," Marcus said. "I'm recommending your termination." Isabella's blood boiled. "Check the server logs," she shot back. "Someone's framing me." Marcus scoffed, but a flicker of doubt crossed his face. After the meeting, Chloe cornered her. "Back off, Isabella. Victoria always wins." Isabella leaned in. "Not this time." That night, Isabella and Lucas met a friend, Elena, a consumer rights attorney, at a quiet Coral Gables bistro. Elena reviewed the evidence, her eyes widening. "This is a class action goldmine," she said. "Victoria's deal involves dozens of recalled SUVs sold to unsuspecting buyers. If we tie her to the tampering and surveillance, she's facing fraud and endangerment charges." Lucas, still reeling, nodded. "I'll help, but confronting her won't be enough. She'll lawyer up." Elena suggested a bold move. Go public with a press conference exposing the SUV scam and rallying other victims. Isabella hesitated. "That'll put a target on my back," Elena smirked. "It'll also put one on Victoria. She can't silence everyone." Lucas squeezed Isabella's hand. "I'm with you, Iz, but we need to protect you first." They agreed to move the Range Rover to a secure lot and hire a private investigator to track Victoria's moves. The next day, Isabella drove her old Honda to work, the Range Rover safely stashed. But trouble followed. A black sedan trailed her through downtown Miami, its tinted windows ominous. She lost it in traffic, her pulse racing. At Horizon, she caught Chloe slipping a USB into Marcus's office. More sabotage? Isabella discreetly recorded the act on her phone, her evidence pile growing. But a new anonymous text chilled her. "Victoria's hired someone to deal with you. Lay low." That evening, Lucas found Isabella on the balcony, the Miami heat heavy. "I called Victoria," he admitted. "I didn't tell her everything, just asked about the SUV. She laughed it off, said it was a mix-up." Isabella's eyes narrowed. "She's covering her tracks." Lucas nodded, his face grim. "I saw her true colors today. We'll stop her, together." As they planned the press conference, Isabella's phone rang, an unknown number. A distorted voice hissed, "Drop it, or you'll regret it." The line went dead, and Isabella's resolve hardened. Victoria was desperate, and that meant she was scared. Isabella Foster stood on the balcony of her Brickell condo, the Miami skyline a glittering cage under a moonless night. The threatening call, "Drop it, or you'll regret it," echoed in her mind, Victoria Langston's shadow looming larger than ever. The white Range Rover, now hidden in a secure lot, was no longer just a faulty gift. It was evidence of a sprawling conspiracy. Victoria's scheme to launder money through recalled SUVs, tied to a shady condo deal with Horizon Media's client, had endangered lives, including Isabella's. With Lucas Reyes finally on her side, Isabella was ready to strike back. But the cost of exposing Victoria was mounting. The next morning, Isabella met Elena, the consumer rights attorney, at a bustling cafe in Little Havana. The aroma of Cuban coffee couldn't mask the tension. Elena spread out Isabella's evidence. Javier's diagnostic report, Daniel's leaked emails, financial records, and Isabella's video of Chloe's sabotage at Horizon. "We've got enough for a class action lawsuit," Elena said, her voice steady. At least 20 other buyers received recalled SUVs from Victoria's deal. If we go public, regulators will investigate. Isabella's heart raced. But Victoria's got half of Miami in her pocket. Politicians, judges. Can we win? Elena leaned forward. We don't need to win in court yet. We need public pressure. Schedule the press conference for Friday at the Miami-Dade courthouse. I'll rally the other victims. Lucas, sitting beside Isabella, nodded. I'll dig into Victoria's legal contracts. If she's hiding offshore accounts, I'll find them. His face was grim. Betraying his aunt was tearing him apart. But Victoria's actions, endangering Isabella and others, had shattered his trust. Isabella squeezed his hand, grateful for his resolve. Back at Horizon Media, the atmosphere was toxic. Chloe's sabotage had painted Isabella as incompetent, and Marcus was pushing for her firing. But Isabella had a trump card. She slipped into the IT department after hours, accessing the server logs with a friend's admin code. The spoofed IP used to sabotage her work traced back to a Langston Properties subsidiary, and a hidden email chain revealed Chloe's direct correspondence with Victoria. Discredit Isabella, and you'll get the corner office, Victoria had written. Isabella's blood boiled. She forwarded the emails to Elena, her case growing airtight. But danger was closing in. Driving home through Coconut Grove, Isabella noticed the same black sedan from before, tailing her Honda. Her palms sweated as she took sharp turns, losing it near the marina. At the condo, she found a chilling surprise. A note slipped under the door, reading, "Last warning. Back off." Lucas, reviewing case files, saw her pale face. "What's this?" he demanded, grabbing the note. Isabella's voice shook. "Victoria's not just watching us, she's threatening us." Lucas's jaw clenched. "I'm hiring a security detail tomorrow. No one touches you." The private investigator they'd hired, a grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz, delivered a breakthrough that night. Over a secure video call, he revealed Victoria's ties to a shady auto dealer who'd supplied the recalled SUVs. "The dealer's been bribing inspectors to clear faulty vehicles," Ruiz said. "Victoria's cut is funneled through a shell company. I've got names, dates, and bank transfers." He also tracked the black sedan to a low-level fixer in Victoria's employ. "She's rattled," Ruiz added. "Keep pushing, but watch your back." Isabella's resolve hardened, but Horizon was a battlefield. Marcus called an emergency meeting announcing a major client, the condo developer, had pulled funding, citing Isabella's failures. Chloe smirked from the corner, but Isabella saw an opening. "Marcus, check the server logs," she said calmly. "The sabotage came from an external IP linked to Langston Properties." Marcus hesitated, then agreed to investigate. As Isabella left, Chloe hissed, "You're done, Foster." Isabella shot back, "We'll see who's done when the truth comes out." Thursday night, Isabella and Lucas prepared for the press conference. Elena had secured a local news outlet to cover it, and Daniel agreed to testify anonymously. But a new twist shook Isabella. Daniel texted, "Victoria's planning to flee. She's liquidating assets. Move fast." Isabella's mind raced. If Victoria escaped to a non-extradition country, justice would slip away. Lucas, poring over Victoria's contracts, found a smoking gun, a hidden clause diverting condo profits to an offshore account. "This ties her to the money laundering," he said. "We've got her." But Victoria struck first. At dawn, Isabella woke to a flood of notifications. A smear campaign had hit social media, painting her as a disgruntled employee leaking false claims about Langston Properties. Doctored emails, allegedly from Isabella, accused Victoria of fraud without proof. The posts were trending, and Horizon's clients were distancing themselves. Isabella's reputation was crumbling. "She's trying to discredit me before the conference," Isabella told Lucas, her voice trembling. Lucas's eyes blazed. "Then we fight fire with fire." Elena rushed to the condo, devising a counter-strategy. We'll release a teaser of the evidence online, Javier's report, the VIN, and Daniel's emails, without naming Victoria yet. It'll shift the narrative and draw more victims forward. Isabella agreed, posting the teaser through an anonymous X account. By noon, posts on X were buzzing with speculation about a Miami real estate scam. 3 more SUV buyers contacted Elena, their stories mirroring Isabella's. The tide was turning, but the press conference was hours away, and Victoria's fixer was still out there. As Isabella rehearsed her speech, Lucas's phone rang. Victoria. "Lucas, darling, why this nonsense about the Range Rover?" she cooed. "Come to my penthouse. Let's sort it out." Lucas's face hardened. "No, Aunt Victoria. Tomorrow we're going public. You'll answer for what you've done." He hung up, and Isabella saw a new strength in him. But as they stepped onto the balcony, a distant car engine roared below. The black sedan was back, idling in the shadows. Time was running out, and the fight for justice was about to explode. The Miami-Dade courthouse loomed against a blazing Friday sky, its steps buzzing with reporters and onlookers as Isabella Foster prepared for the press conference. Her heart thundered, but her resolve was ironclad. Victoria Langston's conspiracy, laundering money through recalled SUVs, sabotaging Isabella's career, and endangering lives, had pushed her to the edge. With Lucas Reyes, Elena, and a growing coalition of victims by her side, Isabella was ready to expose the truth. The black sedan, Victoria's fixer, and a smear campaign hadn't stopped her. Today, justice would shine. Inside a courthouse meeting room, Elena prepped the team. "We've got 25 SUV buyers ready to testify," she said, stacking affidavits. "Javier's report, Daniel's leaks, and Lucas's contract evidence are bulletproof. The feds are watching. Victoria's done." Lucas, his face etched with resolve, nodded. "I found her offshore account transfers. She's been siphoning millions." Isabella clutched her speech, her evidence backed up on a secure server. But a lingering fear gnawed. Victoria was cornered, and cornered predators strike hard. The smear campaign had backfired. Isabella's anonymous 10 posts, teasing the SUV scam, had gone viral with number Miami scam trending. Posts on X from victims flooded in, detailing faulty vehicles and shady deals tied to Langston properties. A local news anchor, tipped off by Elena, was live-streaming the conference. But Daniel's warning, Victoria's planning to flee, hung heavy. Ruiz, the private investigator, had tracked Victoria's private jet to Miami International, fueled and ready. "She's got hours, not days," Ruiz texted. Isabella's pulse raced. They had to act now. At Horizon Media, Marcus called Isabella before she left for the courthouse. "The server logs checked out," he admitted. "Chloe's been suspended, and we're auditing her files. You were set up." Isabella exhaled, a small victory. "Keep digging, Marcus. You'll find Langston properties at the root." Chloe's downfall was sweet, but Victoria was the real target. Isabella's phone buzzed with a final text from Daniel. "I'm at the courthouse. I'll speak publicly. End this." His courage bolstered hers. As Isabella stepped onto the courthouse steps, cameras flashed. Lucas stood beside her, his hand steadying her. Elena introduced the case, detailing the recalled SUVs and Victoria's fraud. Then Isabella took the mic, her voice clear. "I received a Range Rover as a gift, but it was a lie, a recalled, tampered vehicle meant to silence me. Victoria Langston rigged it with surveillance to control me, sabotaged my work to discredit me, and endangered dozens of buyers for profit. We have proof, emails, financial records, and victim testimonies. This ends today." The crowd gasped as Daniel, no longer anonymous, stepped forward. "I worked for Langston Properties," he said. "Victoria ordered the SUV deal to launder money through a condo project. She fired me for asking questions. I'm here to make it right." Victims shared their stories, their voices rising. The live stream spiked, with ex-posts amplifying the truth. But mid-speech, Isabella spotted the black sedan across the street. Her stomach dropped. Was Victoria's fixer watching? Elena whispered, "Ruiz tipped off the FBI. They're at the airport, grounding Victoria's jet." Isabella nodded, refocusing. She ended with a call to action. "If you bought a suspicious SUV, come forward. We're filing a class-action lawsuit to hold Langston Properties accountable." The crowd roared and reporters swarmed. Lucas pulled Isabella close. "You did it, Iz." But the victory felt fragile. Victoria hadn't surfaced, and her silence was deafening. That afternoon, the FBI raided Langston Properties' Brickell office, seizing records. News broke that Victoria had been detained at the airport, her passport flagged. The condo developer, spooked by the publicity, cut ties with her, and regulators launched a probe into her offshore accounts. Chloe, facing internal audits, confessed to sabotaging Isabella under Victoria's orders, hoping for leniency. Horizon reinstated Isabella, offering her Chloe's senior role. Marcus apologized, but Isabella's focus was elsewhere. Justice wasn't complete. At their condo that night, Isabella and Lucas watched the skyline, the tension of months melting away. "I'm proud of you," Lucas said, his voice soft. "I was blind about Victoria, but you opened my eyes." Isabella leaned into him. "We did this together." He'd begun therapy to process Victoria's betrayal, and their bond was stronger for it. But a call from Elena interrupted their quiet. "Victoria's out on bail," she warned. "She's lawyered up, claiming she's the victim. Stay sharp." Weeks later, the class action lawsuit gained traction, with 50 plaintiffs and mounting evidence. Victoria's empire crumbled as clients and partners abandoned her. At a pre-trial hearing, she faced Isabella across the courtroom, her icy stare unbroken. But Isabella held her ground, backed by Lucas, Elena, and the victims. The judge froze Victoria's assets, and her plea deal talks faltered. Posts on X celebrated numbered justice for Isabella, and a news outlet dubbed her Miami's whistleblower. A year later, Isabella and Lucas stood in their new Coral Gables home, its garden blooming with hibiscus. Isabella, now leading Horizon's top campaigns, was pregnant with their first child. Lucas, balancing his law firm with family, smiled as he painted the nursery teal. Victoria's trial loomed, her conviction likely. The Range Rover, impounded as evidence, was a distant memory. As the Miami sun set, Isabella touched her belly, feeling the baby kick. The shadows of the past had faded, and a new chapter, built on truth and love, began.